If you drive a stick, you need the hands-free option. That's a must.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you'll ever listen to.
Yep, your final bros are here. It's Brian Hopper LaGrasta and Shane the Peg Prince Smith.
Peg Prince?
You're the Peg Prince. You love getting pegged.
Okay. No.
It's on your Christmas list. You want to? Yes.
Maybe a peg leg.
You want to get pegged? All good, dude. Okay. It's all good. It's Christmas time, dude.
It is. It is.
This is the 3 of the 4 Christmas movies that we're reviewing this year. So
yes, we already did the mean one. We did Rare Exports.
And now we're doing Silent Night, Deadly Night 3.
Shocking.
We'll probably be doing the series consecutively until we close it out.
Yeah, well, we're all big on finishing series here.
Just trying to. So we'll be over the halfway point. There's 5 of them, right?
Yep, we're almost there.
This one stars Bill Moseley because they've recasted Ricky
for the 3rd time.
And they'll do it again in the next one, apparently.
Yep. I mean, in all seriousness, they couldn't keep the same Ricky. He was the worst thing to cinema.
He was just a meme.
He was. Okay, so Brian, let's get this right off of our chests right away. This movie was worse than the last one, right?
I would respectfully disagree.
Okay.
No. Like not by much, because this movie also kind of sucks, for sure. But the second movie was just... It was literally the first movie over again.
Yes, but there was good memes. There was garbage day. This just had brain matter in a jar.
He said Bill Moseley walking around like a zombie with an exposed
head
globe of a brain.
There were slippers.
Oh, look at this platter. I like this.
Charcuterie. Okay.
Thanks, Caitlin. I'll take some of this.
I even noticed there was a cracker over here.
I added that.
Oh, perfect. Get a little cheese going here. Love this for me.
Gonna need this for this episode.
Get a little salami.
Yeah, we're gonna partake in the salami and the cheeses.
Yeah, this has been the best part of this episode.
Caitlin has not shut up because the fact that she made a charcuterie board, this is a big deal for her. She did a good job. But she's not shutting up about it, for sure.
That's a little rude. A little rude,
but true.
But let's talk about this movie.
Let's talk about the exercise bike. Okay, let's talk about this movie before I get my ass kicked.
Yeah, I feel like the exercise bike is not where you want to go with this.
No, but painfully true, and how much that's been used. All right.
Okay.
So, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
3 or 2.
Oh, I was going to say...
Okay.
You got a recap of the first movie for pretty much half the movie. Then Ricky just goes on a suburban serial killing rampage.
Yeah.
And that's that movie.
And now this movie is Laura and Ricky have a psychic connection due to a doctor. And then Laura leaves because she's scared of it. And then it's just the story of Ricky walking in slippers towards her. It follows.
Really without a motivation? Because
Yeah.
do you think he's just trying to kill her, or do you think he's trying to get to her?
I think just kill her. I literally think he's just trying to kill her.
I think the same, but I really don't think you know either way.
I agree with that. You want to jump into the pit of spooky? Because, I feel like there's not, backstory to talk about this movie. It's just the movie. So let's jump into the spooky pit.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, Better Watch Out. Lauren, a young blind woman, is stalked during the Christmas season by Christmas baddie Ricky Caldwell, fresh off a coma, who she shares a psychic connection with. The film was directed by Monty Hellman, and it stars Samantha Scully as Laura, Bill Moseley as Ricky, Richard Baymar as Dr. Newberry, Eric DeRay as Chris, and Laura Herring as Jerry. You are the Peg Prince, by the way.
Okay. We're going to just ignore that. Mm-hmm. So this movie, Ricky's in a hospital. So this is the first thing wrong with the movie. We saw in the end of 2, he was shot in the chest 3 times.
Yeah.
Why is his head exploding?
Why do you have a brain injury? Did he fall on his head wrong? You're right. Or did they just do... He was in a coma. Did they have to do some kind of peering into his brain?
I don't know. It's not really explained.
He's got this a globe on his brain.
Yeah.
So you see his exposed brain has got blood gush, I guess, to keep it going.
It's a red snow globe. It's a Halloween snow globe.
Here's my thing. His brain is fucking ginormous.
Yeah, he's a real smart guy.
the brain encompasses the whole globe. The brain is not that big.
No, because when you think about it, his skull would have been so huge.
His brain is massive. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. His brain is the size of his entire head.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, Laura signed up for this thing where this is kind of almost like The Cell.
Similar. When she goes under.
She has to go under and into his dream, almost? Or like...
Yeah.
So we get, like, in typical Silent Night fashion, a lot of flashbacks of the first movie. Of Santa killing Ricky's mom.
I feel like it makes a little bit more sense with the story, though.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. I feel like because of this, because he's accessing... Yes, it is flashbacks, but it's not as long, nearly. They're flashes. And she's accessing, through this experiment, his trauma, his nightmares, his issues, the Christmas guy that basically killed his parents.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing so, as we will soon explain, they're now cyclically linked because of this.
Yes. So she has like these dreams of like Ricky following her, and then there's like a Santa Claus that shows up in these dreams, and she starts to get really freaked out. So she leaves. Like, she just gives up on the whole thing, right?
And she tells the doctor, like, I don't want to do it anymore. And this is a man, General Horn from... I remember he does play General Horn.
He does. And
Benjamin Horn from Twin Peaks.
Yes.
He's all about science.
He's a man of science. He's a believer in the science. The science is never wrong.
And apparently she's like... She has, like, some weird psychic outside of this. Some weird psychic ability.
Yes, he does. She does. She's blind, but she knows where everything is.
It's like one of those blind...
Yeah, it's a blind thing. So, is this doctor basically like the old school Dr. Fauci? He's all about the science. The science can't be wrong.
Yeah, he literally says it. He literally has a statement in here where he basically mentions just like the science is real and I don't know, like that is like a buzzword.
Yeah, it is.
And I understand, but for me, like science is always like the pursuit. So I think science and equivalent it to like always being the truth is actually a misnomer. I don't think it makes sense.
No, because the thing with science is eventually right, but you could be wrong for a little bit because that's why you have your controls and your variables
and your doodads. No, isn't it like the pursuit, doing everything objectively for the pursuit for truth?
Yes. At least that's how I took it as. But then again...
Like, it's the path to objective truth, but I think the process is not always true because it's always, like, testing and retesting. Yeah,
and that's why you have variables and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how it happens, though, but, like, once she leaves, Ricky's going to wake up from the coma and murder a Santa. So, what Ricky's thing is anytime he sees anything related to Christmas in this movie, he murders. Right? He's like a bull. Like, if he sees red, he kills.
He doesn't move fast. And like you said, you compared It Follows. It's fair. He just, like, has no emotion. He's got a flying saucer for a head. And he just walks towards his target.
Yeah. And his target is Laura. So he murders this Santa, and now he's on the pursuit of Laura. Laura is going to get picked up by her brother and his girlfriend, Jerry. And they're going to go to Grandma's house, right? That's their whole purpose. They're going over to Grandma's house.
That is correct. They're going to see Granny. It's going to be a nice, him, the brother, and the brother's girlfriend, who it seems like he's meeting for the first time, right?
Yes. Because she makes some inappropriate, like, blowjob joke, right?
The sister does.
Yeah.
Like, makes a weird joke when they're getting in the car when she meets her for the first time.
Yeah, she's like...
About her giving good head or something?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was like very off-putting.
It's very off-putting, especially as the first time meeting someone. She's just like, oh, so you're the endless blowjob machine. Or like, it's so absurd like that.
She didn't deserve that. She seemed nice. She
literally was just there. Like, it's so unprovoked and mean.
3 of the stars of this movie are in Twin Peaks shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely weird. It's a very weird thing. Yeah, so this is all going to happen. They're now on the trip to Grandma's house, and Bill Moseley, as Ricky, is slowly walking down the side of the road where he's going to hitchhike with a guy who he then murders because he shows him a Christmas sweater.
Yeah. He seemed like a nice guy.
He did. Now, this is my question, because How does Bill Moseley get to Grandma's house before the other three, when the other three had left like much sooner?
I have no clue. It's a great question. Great question. Also, if Bill Moseley, how much intuition and how much intellect could he possibly have at this moment where he really doesn't talk much except for mumble, because he has to pick up a ride. He doesn't have the intelligence to request a ride via hitchhike.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He knows so much for someone who's apparently supposed to be brains leaking out. It doesn't make much sense. There's also now a subplot with a cop who's trying to get to Ricky to save Laura before the other guy does. Because one thing we should mention also is Bill Moseley kills the nurse at the desk before he leaves. So he has 3 kills under his belt. And so the police are investigating these kills.
They pretty much attributed to him almost right away, though.
Yes, they do.
I guess he's escaped, and knowing his criminal Christmas history.
Yeah, they're like, all right, so he's murdered 3 people. You know, it also doesn't make sense because he beats them to Grandma's. He actually stops at a gas station and murders the guy who's dirty talking his girlfriend on the phone.
Yep.
And so how does he have the time to do all of these murders?
And I know the answer.
Okay, let me hear it.
So who is driving in the car with them? It's the boyfriend. So it's the brother, the sister,
and the girlfriend.
Who's driving?
I believe
the brother, right?
Yes.
Who's he in the car with?
The girlfriend and the sister.
What are they?
Females.
What do females do on a trip?
Stop to go to the bathroom?
How many times?
2 to 3.
You could literally kill the entire East Coast before you need to go. You'll get there before them.
It's a valid point. Okay. So now that we've explained that plot hole, what is your thought on the cop and the police officer following in pursuit the whole time, and the cop knowing that the doctor wants to keep this man alive, but the cop still leaving his car to pee on the side of the road, allowing the doctor to steal his car? Wasn't that the most obvious thing in the world that was going to happen?
Very, very, very obvious, just based on their conversation. Also want to say the cop is the best character in the movie, in my opinion. He is fucking hilarious.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's so fucking funny. That whole car ride where he's talking to him, he's absolutely hilarious. Because he's trying to, the scientist is trying to gauge, what's going to happen if, he can't take him alive. Is he going to kill him? And obviously he doesn't want his experiment dead.
Yeah. That's the old tried and true trope. The doctor can't kill his test, even though his test has murdered 3 people and going to keep murdering, I can fix him. Crazy.
Dr. Frankenstein, then.
Yeah, 100%. So Ricky gets to the grandma's first. The grandma is super nice, and the grandma's going to give him food and water.
But she's just a little too nice.
Yeah, because why? I forgot. Did he walk in with the beanie on, or did she give him the beanie to cover his brain tube?
I feel like she has to give him the beanie. There's no way he had that beanie prior. I'm almost positive he did.
So, she saw a man with a brain jar, and she's like, you need a beanie.
You need to cover up that blood brain.
And a nice meal.
Yeah, she does everything. She even gives him a wrapped Christmas present.
And that is where it all goes wrong. Because anything with Christmas will trigger Ricky into a killing rage.
You just can't do that. You ever do so much for somebody, you go way above and beyond what you're supposed to. Have the gratitude and love to give someone a Christmas present, to give them life.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing so much for someone that doesn't deserve it, and yet they come back and kill you.
Happens.
The only metaphor I can think of is U.S. immigration.
Oh. So, moving. There we go. We needed something like that. Yeah, so the grandma's going to be dead, and now the 3 of them are going to appear at the grandma's house, right? And right away, Laura's like, something's wrong. Grandma's not here, and this chair has moved 4 centimeters to the left.
Yeah, that was crazy. She completely had that mapped.
Yeah. She's like a Roomba. Just had a map of the entire house.
That was kind of wild. I'm not going to lie.
So they're going to be like, nah, it's fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry. Next thing you know, we get bath time. This looked so uncomfortable. and so unsexy. Like,
You're not about bath time for. So are you saying that the guy's a little too hairy?
I'm saying that tub looked a little too small for two.
He's also a big man.
Yeah.
She's also not a small girl.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, man. That just looked like they had to like, they were almost like had to scissor each other to sit in the bathtub together.
Yeah.
Just didn't look comfortable. Right?
I love that. Where she dies and she just rubs blood on her face.
So wild. So they're doing their bath time.
Ooh, bath time.
Laura's doing that. Eventually, the doctor, right, shows up now at the house. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Ricky's outside.
He's just hanging around the property.
And why does the doctor think, like...
Going up to him is a good idea when he has an exposed weapon?
Yes.
I have no idea.
Like, what did he think was going to be accomplished?
Is it only one of those things where, like, he thinks that he would recognize that he was the doctor? How does he even know he would like him? Like, he's been killing everybody in his path. It's been reported. He knows that by now.
But also, wasn't Ricky in, like, a coma? So, like, how does he even know who the doctor is?
Yeah, that's also true. Also very true.
It don't make sense to me, bro. None of it makes sense to me.
He's blind by his creation, Shane.
Yeah. So, is this where the brother fights him for the first time?
Yeah.
And loses. Gets stabbed, right?
Yeah, well, the guy tries to, like, what happened was, before that, he tries to, like, break in the house, and he gets his girlfriend in a headlock.
Yeah.
And he has to stab his arm with a knife.
That's right.
And then they get into the squabble.
Yes. And that's when things go south really quick. You think the brother's dead. The girl's running upstairs. That's when, though, Ricky gets upstairs and he kills the girlfriend. He stabs her like 2 or 3 times.
Stabbed her clean, yeah. Yep.
Then, I think it's Laura runs into the basement.
I mean, like, the brother's just pretty much, like, useless at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like from here on out, through the entire movie, the brother doesn't really do anything.
No, but he shows up to fight one more time, but he starts to get choked out, but Laura doesn't do anything to help him.
No.
She just waits until her brother dies, and then... Actually, she still doesn't do anything, because she waits for Ricky to attack her, and she just puts that sharp stick up, and he falls through the sharp stick.
Well, he needs to get to her, so he just travels all the way to the sharp stick. Which then, if he has that intellect, he would not go to the sharp stick. Keeps going to our point, like, how smart is he? Because he's a zombie who falls on a sharp stick, but also knows how to hitchhike and drive. He also can't be that smart in general. Like, how much education does he have? He's an orphan.
That's a good point. Also, an orphan who like was beaten and like thrown in jails and like. But he was smart enough to have a girlfriend in the second movie, who he then strangled with a car antenna and killed.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. This movie's very. This series is very all over the place. Is this one of the worst like series of all time? No, but it's not good.
No, and
because there's Robert the Doll.
So I know that. Yeah. Oh God, I know you did not enjoy this movie at all.
No, I hated this movie.
I enjoyed watching it.
Really?
I just thought it was different. I didn't hate the idea. I really didn't. Now, was it executed well? No, not at all. But I didn't hate watching it.
Well, Bill Moseley is a decent brain zombie.
Yeah, but I would also argue that Ricky's a bigger guy than Bill Moseley.
Yes.
Right? Like, Ricky's a Hulk. They made it very clear that both brothers, Ricky from the last movie, very clearly, he's a man that worked out, and the other brother were both massive men.
Yes. Which is why I'm so curious to see how Clint Howard plays Ricky in the fourth one.
Imagine he's just so yoked.
I could only imagine. Okay. So the cop shows up now, right?
Yeah.
Super late to the party.
Of course.
He helps the girl get up because Ricky had fallen on top of her.
Yeah, he also sees the fact that the doctor is
dead.
Dead. He's just like a little smirk.
Yeah, he's like,
how did he get there also? Uber?
Yeah, because they don't explain it. He's not, I don't know, man. I guess if he had a badge, he could have just put his badge up on the side of the road in a car and be like, oh, that's a cop. Because it was like back in the 80s where people still trusted hitchhikers and badges.
That's true. I seen someone hitchhiking the other day in the other town.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to say what town, but...
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It was weird.
No, it's just because, like, that's scary, though. Because, like, this could be a murderer.
It's weird. I mean, when we went to Washington, we saw a ton of people trying to hitchhike on one street. Yeah, it must have just been like hitchhike.
Why do people still do that?
Probably like hitchhike highway.
That's crazy.
This doctor,
yes,
reminds me of someone. Like, I don't know if I'm getting him confused with somebody that I'm trying to name, but he looks so familiar. The therapist that she talks to about her trauma and what she's seeing and all these nightmares.
Oh, like you're saying she looks familiar?
He looks familiar, or that he looks like somebody.
Do you remember his name in this, or? Because Dr. Newberry is the main doctor, right?
Continue on.
There's a guy named... Oh, Laura's psychiatrist. Here we go.
What's the acronym?
Leonard Mann.
Leonard Mann.
He was in Flowers in the Attic.
Okay, my dad.
The Humanoid. Night School. Vengeance is a dish best served cold. I'll tell you this. This was his second to last movie he was ever in.
How many movies was he in?
35 he's put in. So he's not anyone. Yeah, it's
nobody?
Yeah.
All right, I'm just getting it mixed up with someone.
He was in an episode of Charlie's Angels in 1979.
I'm assuming that's what it was. I'm just kidding.
He was in Los Scarbo. Yeah, okay. He was in a lot of maybe Italian movies.
When he probes her, is it important to talk about the fact that her parents are dead? Their parents are dead?
I don't even think it matters.
But she survived that plane crash, and is that what we're to assume blinded her?
Yes. That is how she wasn't born blind. She was given blindness by a plane crash.
But like, how does that happen? You hit your head harder?
Yeah, you hit your head. Something just turns off.
Flips a switch?
Well, yeah. Did you ever see the Sandlot? The guy who owns the Beast? He was a baseball player and got hit in the head with a pitch and he went blind.
That's right.
So it's a thing. You get hit in the head hard enough, you could be blind.
Do you like her earrings, the cross, and that little hippie peace sign?
Yeah, no, it's cute.
Do you like that guy's brain?
It's the best part.
What's with his like scarred eye?
I don't know.
Did I miss something from the second to the third movie?
No, I think they just missed the second movie completely. So what happened? So did we actually finish the movie? Like once the cop shows up and picks her up, right?
Yeah,
that's it.
He falls on the stick, and then
the cop shows up.
They kind of like flash scenes. Like she goes over to her brother. Her brother looks dead. Then you see them like wheeling out a bloody body, and I didn't know if that was the brother or if that was the killer.
Right.
I feel like it has to be the killer.
I think it's the killer.
Because they mentioned like, hey, we're gonna try to like put him
revive
on
him.
support.
We're gonna try to revive him. That's the killer. I took it as the killer.
And then, literally, he gets put into the ambulance, and then there's a driving scene between, I believe, the cop and her.
Yes.
Right? And where she's like talking, and she's just like, Merry Christmas, and then there's just a weird like intergalactic background, and you see the faded face of Rick Caldwell saying, "And a Happy New Year." I don't know if that's supposed to symbolize that he's coming back.
He's definitely coming back. We got to do Brian Usna's classic.
But yeah, that's Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, Better Watch Out.
All right, Brian. I'm going to give this movie a 2. Yeah, 2. I hated it. Like, I forgot what I gave the second one. I probably gave the second one either a 1 or a 2. But, like, I don't know. There's, like, the second one's so bad and so poorly made, but there's a charm to that movie. I know you felt that way about this one. For me, personally, I didn't have that charm. Yeah. I didn't have that charm to this one. It just wasn't feeling it. I just felt like it was a waste of Bill Moseley, too, because, like, I've seen fun, crazy Bill Moseley, and he was just in slippers and a blood, like, salad helmet.
Yeah.
Like, it just wasn't it. It just wasn't for me, man. Wasn't for me.
In hospital garb the entire film, walking around with a ginormous exposed brain with a globe over it.
Yep.
It's kind of wild. Yeah, I have this movie as a 4.
Yeah.
I didn't love it, obviously, and there's problems literally everywhere. And yeah, they underused Bill Moseley. I also don't know if Bill Moseley is really Bill Moseley at this point in time. It's really early in his career.
Yeah.
But I know he was, a couple years prior, he was like Chop Top in Texas Chainsaw 2, where he also played a person with a brain injury.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea behind it. I really do. Her having a telepathic, like, communication and like a psychic link with the killer.
Yeah.
I don't really know if they use the whole Christmas theme to the best in this, but like I feel like she was kept getting the visions of him throughout.
Yeah.
I also like think that probably like this movie after the first one, probably shouldn't have been a series.
No.
Like, doesn't it feel like a
It's forced. It's a very forced series.
It just feels like a faulty movie.
I don't
series.
understand why it keeps getting sequels too, with the movies not being good.
Yeah, it's getting sequels, but like I feel like the story's already been told enough. Like, who cares about Ricky? Like, the first one was just fine. Maybe one more because you got the first brother and then you have Ricky, the second brother, but you really didn't need this psychic link, and then you don't need whatever comes after. You just don't need it.
You mean the bug witch cult we're about to get into next?
Yeah. So this is the first one where like Ricky is not the main character. Like,
Yeah.
one of the brothers is not the main character. It's this blind girl.
And that's going to continue, I think, with the next movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the only thing I could say why he gets there before everybody else is they don't know where they're going.
That's true.
I'm talking about the cops.
Yeah.
The kids know where they're going.
Yeah.
But the cops don't.
Yes. So.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have it as a 4.
Okay. Necronomicon might be a little tougher.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the doctor.
Yeah. He extended his hand and he got stabbed, and it was like the most obvious thing that was coming. Like, it was so painfully obvious that he was going to do that it almost hurts you to see it happen.
Yeah. I just like the brother's death kind of sucked.
The girlfriend's death.
It was nothing.
Grandma.
She dies off screen.
Yeah. A lot of off screen, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Newman was his name? Newberry? Dr. Newberry. A man of science. A man who just wants to go out there and help people. Even if you're a serial killer, he's going to restart your brain with a brain snow globe tube and just make sure you can function in society. He wanted this guy bagging groceries and making minimum wage. Instead, he still had that lust for blood. Probably because his head was just a jar of blood. That's all he had on the brain. It was blood. You need to kill. Christmas made him kill. Red made him kill. You can't take the killer out of Ricky. It's been in him since he was a baby.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't.
You experience that kind of trauma.
Yeah.
Like, it just stuck with
So this doctor was a fool. And sometimes you got to put fools in the Necronomicon. Also, I don't think we put a doctor in there for a while, so it's a good thing we get some diversity.
Oh, for sure, Shane.
Gotta get a doctor in there.
For
Gotta get a doctor in there.
certain.
So we only have one more Christmas movie left to do this year.
That's right. It's the last one.
Yeah. So we did Rare Exports. We liked. We did the mean one. Was terrible. We did this. Was terrible. So we're gonna now do a good one to end the season. It's not really a horror.
No, it's really not. I thought it was. It's like a dark, violent action thriller.
Yes. So we bend the rules sometimes, and we're bending them here. We're doing Violent Night.
Violent Night, starring David Arbor and really nobody else that I know.
John Leguizamo.
Besides John Leguizamo, that's actually correct.
But then, yes, everyone else.
The mother seemed familiar.
Yes.
The mother seemed familiar, yeah.
But yeah, so that's what we're doing next week. So we're going to end the holiday season off on a high note. And then we actually, since this an episode will be coming out January 1st, we have a very, very fun New Year's Eve horror movie we'll be doing after Violent Night, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
It's a good one. So with that said, for the final podcast, signing off. And we'll see you next week where we make sure you're not on the naughty list, because then we'll come down your chimney and kill you.
Oof. Shane, that's aggressive.
All right, maybe a little too aggressive.
That's fair. We need to get really into the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, we do.
The Christmas day is quickly approaching.
It is. Someone give me my sand.
We're going to do that. We're going to do that with Violent Night. All right. New episodes of the final podcast every Monday. You can catch us bright and early. Also for low-budget horror and action films, or just general low-budget nonsense, every Friday for Final Friday with our buddy, the Cannibal Gypsy himself, Mike G. We will see you next week.
Bye.